Hello and welcome to a special Christmas edition of the J.P. Peterson Show. No, it's not. It's the Big O Show, starring Orestes Destrade. But we also have a special guest here as well. Dickie Numbers is joining the party.
Dickie Numbers.
There he is.
I love it. That was a little bit of a deke.
It was a deke.
Slider. A little
Yeah,
slider on the blind.
That's what I did right there. How are you guys?
We're doing great. An opportunity to talk ball. Not going to miss it.
Thank
With the
you,
Big
buddy.
O?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh,
And, it must be all that medication you're taking right now. Maybe some.
There's a lot of that going
Are
on.
you guys? Is some of that going on right now with the?
There might be a Percocet or two involved. I don't know what to tell you. I just had back surgery, for God's sakes.
That's the way the Bucks were thinking they were playing. They were playing a little bit on it.
Comatose. Percocet on drugs. Oh, we kidding.
We're kidding.
But we got lots to talk about
Yeah,
here.
wow.
The Rays have been busy in this
of-
holiday season.
Yeah, MLB has been busy the last several days. The Rays have made monster trades, obviously, with the Orioles and the Pirates. 4 big leaguers, if you will, go away from the Rays rosters, and they add, 6 young players, arguably, Nick, 7 when you add that compensation pick on the 33rd pick in the first round. So that's going to be interesting. But, listen, right off the bat, I'll say the scary part is that people will start thinking, okay, so you basically got rid of major league players in order to get prospects. But wait, there's more. I really think that there's going to be more on the horizon. But, as we analyze this face value, the picks or the trade players, I think we need to talk about because they were quality and well thought out. The loss, initially, let's just talk about the losses of Brandon Lowe. You're gonna miss a thumper. We know it. You're gonna miss a bat that has been, dare I say, consistently at second base, because there's been a lot of injuries for him over the years. But definitely last year showed its wares as a top power hitting second baseman. He, along with Jazz Chisholm hitting 31 jacks. But I think it needed to happen, and it needed to kind of open up the door for other things to happen. I do believe that this is a trade of a ledger scenario where you're getting rid of, when you accumulate the 4 guys, somewhere around $16 million worth of salary in order to free up that amount to acquire what?
Who?
Listen, the name that comes out there who's going to be getting paid $16 million this coming year, whether it's with Arizona or somebody else, is Ketel Marte. And that's the guy that, Nick, I'll ask you, first let's backtrack. Give me your rundown of the acquisitions per the dissolution of those 4 guys.
Yeah, I think it was a good day for the Rays, for the future of the team, for sure. For the current, it's sort of like TBD, because as you sort of mentioned, I feel like these moves have a vibe in sort of like setting up some other moves. But if you look at the current moves, like in a vacuum, I'll start with the Brandon Lowe trade, and that one obviously was able to net them Jacob Melton. They give up Jake Mangum and Mason Montgomery as well. Jake Mangum, good story for sure.
29 years old.
Yeah, not a needle mover.
No.
Not a needle mover at all.
No.
So I'm not hurt by that. Montgomery, I think there's some potential there that is untapped, and he's going to a spot in Pittsburgh where he has a chance to close some ball games out for them, however many games they do win.
Right.
Of course, that's the big question in Pittsburgh. So I think those, if you have to move them in this deal, that's fine. You get back Jacob Melton, a guy who I think has the potential. If he gets some playing time, he's 25 years old. He's hit well in the minors, probably needs an opportunity, but he looks good defensively from what I've seen. Potentially could be a 20 home run, 20 stolen base guy
Very
for
athletic.
you. Very athletic.
Like a swing.
Yeah, and you're going to get him for, really cheap for the rest of his, if he pans out, for the rest of his prime, obviously.
Correct.
So Brandon Lowe, seeing him go, I think we were probably expecting it at some point.
Yes.
It was going to happen. Last year of his deal, it's kind of what the Rays tend to do. When you have 2 seasons that you've put back to back, it feels like this is the time to sort of reshuffle some things. And maybe at once upon a time, this was Brandon Lowe's team, or this was Yandy Diaz's team. I kind of have grouped them together because they've been playing.
Of course.
They've been playing the entire time together in Tampa Bay as the 2 guys in the middle of that order. It's Junior Camanero's team now. And to
100%.
me, it revolves around him. And so I have no problem sort of like moving on away from that era and moving into a new one. That's not to say it's difficult to replace 30 home runs and 100 RBIs in your lineup, and they're going to have to figure out how to do that. But that's why I'm okay with the Brandon Lowe trade. And then the Baz trade to me, I think is wizardry by Eric Neander in the front office to get 4, sort of high level prospects in that deal. You get a catcher who potentially down the line could be your future at that position. DeBrune, remember Slater DeBrune, who they got, the outfielder.
Yeah, he's sneaky.
Recall that was the 37th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
That was the pick that the Rays traded in the Brian Baker trade.
Right.
So the Rays basically just got that back and got Brian Baker for free, who's going to be a high leverage, inning guy for you this year.
Yeah, really like
and
Baker,
and Baz again, he's going to a spot where he's going to have all the leeway in front of him to be an impact starter, and he might do it. All I know is it wasn't happening right now in Tampa Bay.
Right.
And so I have no problem selling high on him and getting top value for him. And you probably got more value, honestly, than he showed at this point in the big league. So
no question.
I think it's a great day for the Rays' future, and it sets up some moves down the pike.
And you've got availability now. Like if you are going to kind of dip back into the trade market again, the aforementioned, Ketel Marte, because there is a void. There's definitely a void at second base now left. And it's a double void. It's a void at second base with a void of
power.
A void of power. So you got some of these pieces can be turned around. A kid like Brito maybe could be turned around. Ferret, I think, is a nice quality arm at the minor league level that is on, potential. So can you
for a team that wants pitching, frontline pitching, and depth in their pitching, which is what Arizona's looking for? You got Pepio, you're willing to give away, and now you've just acquired two young arms,
and Brito and Ferret.
And you've got Hopkins. Hopkins is sort of like their top guy in the minors right now.
Sure,
Brady Hopkins, who they got in the Rosarena deal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So he's another guy. You have so many options right now that you have an abundance, to be honest with you, and the Rays have always had that.
Yes,
to offer teams.
Yeah, so it looks like it's lining up perfectly, and if that is what's done, then all the hand gnashing about the Rays are just the same old Rays giving away their stars. This new group is just like the last, I think, is completely unfounded because they've been here for 5 minutes and they haven't even completed their off season. As Neander said last week, we got a long way to go to opening day, and there's still a lot of moves to be made. So I don't think there's any way in hell that this is the team that they're going to post.
Nor is this that they're gave away their stars.
Exactly.
I mean, you got Brandon Lowe, who is a star on this
with
roster,
a chronically bad back,
but potential guy that could not play 140 games this coming season. So, and Shane Baz, could be a star, but he wasn't necessarily a star with the Rays.
Right.
And the other two are role players, and Montgomery and obviously Mangum. So you're not giving away the farm here yet. Where this thing lies is going to be second base and the power void. So are you going to go out and try to get aggressive and try to, bring in a Ketel Marte, who I feel is a transformational player, even at 32 years old, that he'll be in this coming season, is just such a dynamic player. When you look at his stats, he does so many things well. He gets on base, he scores runs, he hits home runs, he drives in runs. His average, he's got a high, batting average. Everything.
Great postseason numbers too.
Postseason numbers are phenomenal. He's a transformative player that arguably could be the replacement, if you will, for the strikeout that ended up being Wander Franco. A switch hitter that has power from both sides. When you need right-handed power, when you need help once you face left-handers, which has been, a thorn in your side for the last several years, is left-handed starters or left-handed pitching on a whole. So you add that piece, now all of a sudden it fits. Now, aside from that, because that deal is not that simply done, because Arizona now is sitting, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, that's why the delicacy of trading Brandon Lowe came with, okay, now you guys really want my guy Ketel. What are you willing to give up for it? You know what I mean? As opposed to, it almost had to be almost a three-way deal for it to go, and that wasn't going to happen. So that being said, The reality is you have Richie Palacio, quote unquote, slated in. If you're doing a depth chart right now, guys, that can't be my second baseman. You cannot have Richie Palacio as my projected second baseman and a questionable scenario at short with a very light hitting Taylor Walls, very great defensively Taylor Walls. And then that's the guy that I would like to give 130, 140 games to is Carson Williams. I just like to be able to surround him with enough offense. Go ahead and hit 225 and work your way through, but play great defense, run the bases well, and learn the game and kind of be a Volpe, if you will, type of a growing pains. That being said, if you don't bring in Ketel Marte, we've been talking about it for a while now. Chandler Simpson, to me, needs to have 400, 500 at bats. Where the hell are you going to get him 400, 500 at bats? Maybe it's at second base, and I see him bringing two different gloves in spring training.
Yeah, he's a liability, I think, in the outfield at this point.
I don't know if he's a liability. I'm going to say, JP, I don't know if he's a liability. I think he's working his ass off as we speak right now today, a couple of days before Christmas, at working at those routes.
He's not a plus.
He's not a plus outfielder.
I think it was overstated, though, his struggles last year. And when he came up, it was at a time where like the Rays were really scuffling along. And he just sort of like was that spark plug, that energizer that just sort of like everybody around him.
Oh my God.
And he provided something new to the team that they had been looking for. And it's like, you face people that are like, well, his OPS is this and that. He's not a player that you can look at those stats and say
at all
and judge him off of. That's not what you're doing here. The guy, all I know is the guy gets on base, and that is always going to be a valuable too. He scores run. And when he gets when he's a threat to get on base, when he gets on base, he's a threat to be on third on any given pitch.
I love him as a player. I want him to get 500 at bats, but I think his natural position is he's more likely.
Yeah, but my point was saying that I thought the defense stuff was overstated to the point where when they sent him down to the minors, I was like, oh, I don't know about that. I didn't like that, and I think a lot of it came down to they were judging his defense, and I thought that was a little overstated to the other impact he provided. So he's not.
And you had a couple of guys that were coming off injured scenario. That made it easy to outright him.
And we were still trying to get Morel at bats to see if he could do anything.
That's a great point. You're hoping to figure out Morel from the right side. You're also, Johnny DeLuca was coming off. I believe Meisner was injured and he was coming off. So they just kind of tried to, do a swing gate situation. Hey, make sure you're still getting at bats every day, and we'll bring you back up. They did. Listen, the kid needs to get 400 at bats, 500 at bats. Where is he going to get him? I think he could get him in left field. You bring in Ketel Marte, I'm starting him in left field.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not going to be cringing with him in left field.
No.
I think you can hide him over there and he'll be serviceable. Now, again, is that the case? Or because when you look at the dollars and cents, and the Rays notoriously work their way through ledger, it's you take off, you put on. I always refer to when I was doing the pre and post game show. I remember I was like slyly pushing, hadn't happened yet, for Nelly Cruz to come over, right? And we needed right-handed bat back then. And I was like joking and saying, please, guys, bring in Nelly Cruz. Sure enough, a couple of weeks later, this is like in early July, I was pushing for it. They signed Nelly Cruz. Right? Or they didn't sign. They traded for Nelly Cruz. I was like, oh my God, they traded for Nelly Cruz. They actually did it. Nelly Cruz had $5 million in the back end of his contract, of probably like a $12 million contract, of which $5 million still was owed to him. Subsequently, quietly, within a week and a half, they traded Diego Castillo, and they traded Rich Hill. And I was like, Wait, what happened? No, you're supposed to keep those guys and add Nelly Cruz. So when you do the ledger math, Rich Hill had about $1.5 million left in the rest of the season, and Diego was going to end up signing for about $4 million, which he did in arbitration because he was coming up on arbitration. So there's the $5 million. So when I tell you that they kind of play that ledger book, they play the ledger book, and there's only 8 or 10 teams that really kind of play the ledger book. Everybody else, they go by what they need. Right, to a certain degree. That being said, there's about $16 million that came off the books from these 4 guys that got traded, and very minimal amount, let's say at most $1 million for the 6 guys coming in. So there's now money in the coffers now. Are they going to turn around and use it, or are they not?
Well, I think they are. I think it would be a very bad look if they didn't, to be quite honest, with this new ownership group.
Right.
I think it would be.
But
and you're not and with what they've already done and getting rid of some of the salary, they're not really increasing the payroll a major amount.
Right.
So I think right now
that's what I'm saying. You can still navigate at that 110.
But if you don't go spend that money, I think it's a really bad
because like
look.
right now, if you look at their payroll, they're sitting at they have it right now at $78 million now.
But that's I don't believe, Nick, that's including all they have a plethora of negotiations to be had of arbitration. In fact, they led the league literally in I think it had 16 or 17 arbitration cases.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So they're actually like in the 90s.
Yeah, it's probably closer to 90.
Yeah. So if you're going to play off of that and then add, a little bit, that's where the 16 million for, well, and again, Ketel Marte is not just 16 million for 1 year. He's got, I'll tell you right now,
and it goes up to 20.
It goes up to 20.
That's not prohibitive.
22. That's not prohibitive.
No.
But then you look at, okay, so if we don't go there, are we going to go maybe 24 million for a 2-year deal for JT Realmuto? Because the catching scenario is still a very, very important, scenario. And if you're going to try to win now, because remember, the Rays year in and year out, I don't care what's happened the last 2 years. They're a dangerous team. They're not a team to be, dismissed because they've had 2 missed shoots. They're a team that if you formulate it right and they stay healthy, this is a team you do not want to face in the playoffs.
Well, we were monkeying around with the lineups, and if you get Marte, let's just say if they can acquire Marte, which there's been a lot of smoke around this deal, and they now have. They're
going to have to give up. Pepio.
So you could go a leadoff with Simpson in left, Diaz in the 2-hole, your former batting champion 300 hitter. Caminero and Marte, either 3-4.
No, you keep Marte protecting. He's a veteran. Right. He's protecting Caminero.
Aranda was an all-star first baseman last year, a 300 hitter. It was just, I think, going to get better and better.
I think so.
And add more power. Then you got Mullins in center.
Correct.
Who can give you some pop.
And is playing on a quasi-contract.
Prove-it deal. Yeah. Then you got Josh Lowe in right.
Yeah,
who you love.
Another guy that
I'm still suspect of.
He needs to prove it.
But he could be a 30 home run guy.
He could be.
And
30 stolen bases too.
Yeah, exactly. And then whoever you got a catcher, whether it be Realmuto if you bring him in, or if
that's
you're going
the wish list. If you can sign, if you could bring in Ketel and Realmuto.
And then you've got a shortstop in Taylor Walls or Carson Williams.
Correct.
That can give you great defense.
Correct.
A lot of variety there, versatility.
Yeah.
And could get you some pop as well. Compared to last year's lineup, that is thick.
Right.
That's got speed. It's got power. It's got average. It's got a lot. If I'm a Rays fan and I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, I'll run with that.
Okay, now you circle back off of that to one of the most important parts of a major league season, especially in the postseason. What's your rotation look like?
Okay.
So what's your? I'm
because in this scenario, you've traded
happy.
Pepio.
Exactly. Yeah. Pepio's out. I'm very pleased with their bullpen situation, to be honest with you. I think they have a solid, diverse, different angles. You mentioned Baker, angle bullpen. I think that they had some struggles last year, but I'm confident with that. Now, the starting 5, starting 6, if you bleed it to, that extra guy, you lose Pepio, you have to go out and get a quality guy like a veteran Zach Littell or Zach Efling, one of those type of guys. So I want your thoughts on that, but I'm going to add something you made. You made a very, very interesting point, and that is the truth. The team leader in the face for the next year beyond into the Legacy Stadium forever home is Junior Caminero. Very reminiscent to some degree of back in yesteryear when you had, dare I say, Evan Longoria, right? He's the guy that you want there for 10 years. The guy that was complimentary to Evan Longoria during the peak heyday of that 13, 14, winning a Cy Young, et cetera, was David Price. Do you see, or is just the jury still out because of the last 2 years for Shane McClanahan? Could that be the combination? Because talk about, and this is also important. We talk about it with the Bucks. We talk about it with other teams in all walks of sports. That you need those figures. You need that. David was that guy. David kind of led him for a while. Obviously, you also had big game James Shields, but it was David, right? And it was Evan on the hitter side. If Shane is back on point at a 90+ percentile, now you have, and he's still young enough, even though he's had two major injuries.
It changes the trajectory of the franchise.
I think so.
It changes the way you feel about the franchise, because the last time we saw this guy, we're talking starting all-star games here.
Yeah,
like,
top 5.
We're talking top 5 basically at his best in all of baseball.
Right.
Transformative guy. You give the ball to every 5 days. You know what you're going to get. Try to go, not everybody goes 7 nowadays, but he had the potential certainly to do it. And then you have the franchise cornerstone on offense in Junior Caminero. The Rays haven't always had that franchise cornerstone guy, outside of, after Evan left, Yandy's been a great player.
No,
but he's not franchise cornerstone type guy.
That's what you mentioning that, and the loss of Brandon Lowe, and obviously Yandy's trade rumored left and right every day, every 5 minutes. But I hope he stays. But they're not the corner of the future 5.
It's a great start for how you feel about how you can build this team, because if you can't count on McClanahan to be that guy. And I do have big questions about it. I really do. I mean, is the velocity going to be there for sure?
Right.
The stamina, all those things. Like, it's going to take, and even if he comes back this year, there's probably going to be a pretty significant ramp up process. He's not going to come right out and they're going to be saying, go 100 pitches. It ain't going to happen.
Or go 170 innings.
Right. And, Drew Rasmussen, is he that true? He's flirted with being it.
I don't think he is.
I don't think the high end, he doesn't have the high end stuff, I think, to be that guy. It has to be Shane. And if it's not Shane, then you're still looking for that guy.
Correct.
Especially if you trade Pepio.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Pepio kind of like Drew, but he's obviously younger than Drew.
Sure.
At times last year, maybe towards May, June, I felt like Pepio was starting to turn a corner.
He was the guy. Yes.
He was the guy.
Yeah.
The second half of the year, I mean, everything kind of unraveled. It is what it is.
Right.
But I think that guy's got potential to be it.
And I really think they like him.
Yeah.
As opposed to, not that they didn't like the personality of Shane Baz. I'm talking about the player. They were more easy to give up Baz than it is to give up Ryan Pepio.
Yeah, it hurts to if you're getting Ketel Marte, I would love to do a deal without it.
Yeah,
but I'm recognizing that it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's another reason why it probably is not going to happen, which is there's a lot of pieces there that they don't want to give up.
You got to be you got to kind of get uncomfortable to do it.
Right.
If they were to trade Ryan Pepio, I can't come on here and say, well, why did they trade Ryan Pepio? Because we've been calling for them to make this sort of type of move for years.
Great point.
And you have to give up something to get something.
Right.
And to your point, Ketel Marte, that's a top 20 hitter in all of baseball.
Yeah, he's
no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And that right there, and those 5 guys that you can roll out every single day between Caminero, Aranda, Yandy, Ketel Marte, Josh Lowe, if he gets himself back, Mullins. I mean, Carson Williams, I think, maybe he can have kind of how Willie was when he was coming up, where he needed the at-bats to get the experience, and he's going to strike out a lot, but he might hit 20 home runs too.
And as long as he plays good defense.
And he's going to have a good glove.
Yeah.
He's always had that.
Can run way more than Willie.
Yeah, we forget that.
Willie is a great example of what Carson Williams.
Right. That's how I view it, the blueprint with Carson in particular going forward. He just needs the at-bats.
But that again, it's a if and buts, candy and nuts, man.
Right.
If you had a healthy McClanahan, trade Ryan Pepio.
Because then you got Shane, Rasmussen, Metz, Joel Boyle, Ian Seymour. I'm forgetting. So who else am I forgetting? And as your starting 5. Is that who you look at as your starting 5?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the 40-man roster. I mean, there's some other guys that they like that are coming up from AAA that have pitched well, but I think that would be your group right there.
That is your group, yeah.
And if you want to go out and get an Eflin or Littell, I think that would be wise.
100% is wise.
Yeah. Now, is that a great starting staff right there?
Yeah.
Does that get the job done?
As Nick was saying, and I'm saying, and anybody's saying, it's can Shane McClanahan give you 13 to 14 wins in 170,
170 innings.
Yeah, 160 innings, because if he's on point, but they're still going to control his innings. he could still be dominating if he's on point, right? So then you wean him, because then you need him on point to unleash him in October, because you're going into the season expecting to be pitching in October as an organization. So you have to travail that way. That's why an Effling or a Littell so important, because you need an innings eater galore.
Yeah.
You need these guys that can, that you can throw out there every fifth day, because you're not going to baby him, but you're going to,
he's not throwing 8 innings.
He's not throwing 7, 8 innings, man. He's throwing 5.
It's going to be like we did Rasmussen last year.
It's 5 innings. Exactly how we did. So if you get those Rasmussen numbers from him this coming year, now Rasmussen takes a step up. I'm going to be candid. I'm questioning Steven Matz being, the starter that they're looking for at a 4 or 5. He just hasn't shown it. Now they're infamous, they being the Rays.
Yeah, they find
of finding retreads and creating them. So I'll applaud that if that happens. But
that's a starting 5, but it's hanging on a thread.
It's hanging on
because if Shane can't be that guy, and would you be shocked if he's not?
Exactly, you would be shocked if he.
And then you've got Rasmussen, who's your number 1 or number 2, 1A, who's had 3 Tommy Johns.
Sure.
And then Metz, and then Boyle and Seymour is not. I love what he's seen.
Taking out Pepio in this thing, it gets dicey.
Yeah. So, but again, you got to give up something to get something.
You have to.
And it might be a thing though too. Like the Rays, they have the ability though to you talked about like the bullpen, for example. I think that's a big part of this too. Is maybe you don't have the ideal rotation necessarily to start the season.
Sure.
But you start looking at the bullpen, and I'm looking at, Garrett Clevenger, Griffin Jacks, Edwin Uceda, who was great down the at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Brian Baker. If you just start with those 4 names right there, I mean, you can
control some games.
You can control a lot of games and sort of playoff, and then we know the Rays love to do that anyway.
No, 100%.
I think that's a good scenario for when you have Seymour if he's starting,
right.
or Boyle if he's, especially Boyle, because Joe Boyle, he clearly has to control his pitches. I mean, he can obviously throw it 100 miles an hour, and he can be electric at times, but he's a guy that's got to find some more control. And the only way you're going to do that is if you get more opportunity. But is he a guy that you can trust to go 6 innings, 7 innings? Probably not.
I like their bullpen a lot, man. You're going to get Hunter Biggie back, who was injured but showed some wears. I think you have a diverse left-right bullpen that could be, and also, from the side.
Closer by committee?
The closer by, yeah. I think Uceda is going to end up,
You'll get Manny Rodriguez back too.
You get Manny Rodriguez back, who's got a whip of an arm.
You almost start like this. Almost starts to look at when you look at Manny Rodriguez, Baker, Uceda, Jacks, Clevenger. It almost reminds you of one of those bullpens that they had 5-6 years ago
100%.
with the stable and everything that we used to love.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking
and
at.
If you throw out this lineup, I mean, we're so used to not winning with offense. Suddenly, you could start bludgeoning people with this offense. I mean, Caminero can continue what he's doing, and Marte, and you get the speed at the top, and God forbid Josh Lowe finds it. I mean, this is a thick lineup.
It's a thick lineup, and you also, adding a prominent bat like a Marte now makes your lineup. You have 4 to 5 guys that really control the zone,
right?
Including Simpson, who was a kid that he's not going to thump, but he controls the zone.
Just get on and create
havoc. Now, remember, you add that Vince Coleman-esque type of a player on first base. The pitcher worries about the guy. Is he going to steal? And he tightens a little bit on that slider, on the curveball, on the foul, and then you thump. So I think adding a quality bat like that, I feel like it's imperative if you're going to lean on a very talented bullpen is what looking to be for the Rays. So you need to score that 4.5 runs a game. That 4.5 runs a game will give you more, dude, I'm telling you, we're going to be under 4 in ERA.
Yeah.
So if you're scoring 4.5, do the math, you're winning more than you're losing. So that's an imperative thing. Now, let's go backtrack again. If you don't do Ketel Marte, even though the 16 million quote unquote is out there, and you commit to that kid or that man, he's 32, for the legacy future in the next 3 to 4 or 5 years, he could be one of your guys. I truly believe, I'll say it again, that guy can be a transformational player. He could be the face of the Rays in the next several years. That's how good I think he could be. Now, that being said, if you don't do that, do you at least kind of go after the catcher scenario or go after a higher level quality starter? Because where are we with the catchers, Nick?
Well, I think you still need that big bat. We've been talking about that. Yeah. And if you can go find that as an outfielder, then Chandler moves to second base. It's basically the same thing. Whoever that guy is.
Not that many guys out there.
The outfielder's going to have to come through trade.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
The only guys like I have it pulled up here, like of who's a free agent.
But you got the prospects to go get.
Like for example, I think the Rays outfielders, one thing they're missing is maybe a proven right-handed bat because they got a lot of lefties.
Right. A right-handed bat.
A right-handed bat.
That's why Marte helps a lot because he's as good right-handed.
So like if you were trying to just these names are not transformative names or anything.
Let's see if he brings up the guy that I think is.
I was thinking of a guy like Austin Hayes as an option.
Possibly.
It's a right-handed hitter.
I'm gonna tell you a sleeper.
Randall Grichuk is in there. The Harrison Baders.
Not a big fan.
Okay, well, you hated my names.
Yeah. Miguel Andujar.
Oof. I have not put a lot of thought into Miguel Andujar since he left the Yankees.
Look him up last year. And the main reason since he left the Yankees after that incredible rookie season has been injuries. But he fixed himself up a little bit. Is
he playing the outfield now?
Yeah. He plays left field. Yeah. Because I think they put him in the outfield last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because he was he was at Oakland and then
they moved him.
Now he was at Cincinnati in the year,
and he hit 290.
He hit 359 and 110 at bats with the Reds last year.
And if there's some way they could
and they moved him out to left field. So this is a guy that's got a whip of a bat, often injured, but hopefully he's figured it out. He's 30 years old, 30, I think 31 at most.
31, yeah.
31. He's a sleeper. Not super high on it. I'm not going to be, jumping for joy if they sign him, but I'm just trying to figure out who the hell can you get out there that has some pop, right? Unless you're going to lean and more than everybody in the world that Ryan Velarde, who hit like 17 jacks last year in AAA, can be that surprise, and they've had some great surprises with no name, pickups. So they picked him up for nothing. They picked him up for cash, So I don't know. Otherwise, that's why JT Realmuto sounds interesting because does JT have 15 or 20 homers in a season left in his back pocket? Possibly.
There's if we don't go Marte, there are still other options, and then you might not have to give up Pepio. So
I agree.
100%. I think
if you could keep Pepio,
I think the Rays are sitting pretty right now with what their available resources are, and they've got so many now really good prospects that they can trade or just bring along, and they've got options. So I like where they are. They're not done. They're not even close
they're not
to done.
That's the key.
So, but
they're
I think
not done with their Christmas shopping or post. they might be looking for that post Christmas sale.
I think which they've done really well at, which they've always done really well at. We never go retail. We're never shopping.
We tend not to be retail.
Neiman Marcus. We're the Walmart brand. But we're after holiday Walmart
can we
brand.
Go, can we go Target at least? Can we go?
Yeah, maybe the new guys go Target. I don't know.
Target looks a little bit more like Walmart nowadays. I got to be honest.
Feels better.
We don't need to. I'm sorry, Target, to be dogging you guys, but you have dropped a little bit.
Not as many fights in Target.
Not as many fights, but it's a good people watching place.
Yeah, you dropped down to like the Bucks level of shopping right now. That's ooh.
All right, so let's say that big thanks to our great sponsors, Texas Roadhouse, Wesley Chapel.
Talk about great level.
Yeah, that's right. If you're looking for a great steak and a nice holiday meal, bring the family together on this holiday time, or you're shopping at the Wiregrass
at the outlets,
right across Texas Roadhouse, right?
On Highway 56. It's beautiful. Listen, they run it. Tyler Hamilton runs not only a great restaurant, but the service and the comfort food at a comfortable price. And I just love it there. I've been there several times now in the last few weeks, and I can't say enough about the food per value that you get.
Yes, great people over there. And Genesis of Tampa, the Kingmakers, also our sponsors. Genesis of Tampa, by the way, having a huge December where they're They're giving away a $500 gift card each and every day. If you just come on in, they'll 10x your entries if you get your car appraised or do a test drive. So that's every day during December, $500 shopping spree they're giving away. And if you buy a car, first 3 months, no payments. The fourth month is on them. So you don't have to make payments for 120 days. Genesis of Tampa, if you're looking for a great car, check it out.
And also they give back in this now in the holiday season of giving back, phenomenal. Their big 3 C's are the customer, community, and charity. So can't say enough about Mike Murphy. Also limited partner with your Tampa Bay Rays.
That's right.
Wonderful guy, wonderful company.
So if we need more money, we just go to him.
Yeah. We should just knock on his door right now. It's right here because we
need
are
a little extra for the.
We are in the
Marte.
Kingmakers suite right here.
Absolutely.
So
it all happens here.
It all happens here, and we just say, "Hey, Ketel Marte, only $16 million. Let's go, buddy.
Let's go." I don't think we have any problem with that. All right, let's get to some of our comments and questions here. Rick says fire bowls. Oh, sorry, wrong show.
Holy shit.
We already did 2 hours of that, Rick. Get out of here.
Just it kind of covered, it runs over, doesn't it? Doesn't it run over from the JP Peterson show?
Well, I don't,
you guys, I heard you guys hammered him hard.
Yes, we did. And he deserved it.
Okay, we're trying to talk about a team that has a positive future right now.
Nicky numbers.
Come on.
Danny Sledge says what we got for Boz was straight witchcraft. Neander is the GOAT. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, that's
that's essentially the take that I had. Yeah. I think that's tremendous value for the trade, and I hate to put it up against the Chris Archer trade. I'm just saying it has the potential. It has the potential to go down that route as an extension, by the way, of the Chris Archer trade, which is the gift.
Just keep building on that,
right.
Which is an extension of the Delman Young trade, if I'm not particularly.
You are correct.
Mistaken.
Yes,
let's go 20 years back.
Michael LaRue says, "I love the return on the Boz trade. I think the return on the Lowe trade was a little light, considering they gave up Montgomery and Mangum as well."
Yeah, I mean, again, you did get also a compensation pick.
Yeah,
that's in the first round.
Isn't Chandler Simpson and Jake Mangum kind of redundant to have them both on the same roster?
Same guy. Yes,
100%. I mean, and you've got Johnny DeLuca, who hopefully will have a full healthy season.
I envision him probably taking some at bat, him and Mullins maybe.
Yeah. Man, face value, DeLuca, you could possibly be looking at a platoon situation where in left field, if you're trying to get Chandler Simpson, the bat that we're talking about, but then a tough lefty, even though Chandler battles against lefties too.
Hit 300 against lefties.
Yeah, so it's a tough one, but I like Johnny DeLuca being able to be everywhere. And could play all three outfields.
A base stealer too when you need him.
No, I really like him. So when you're looking at that, they're the same player.
Yeah,
and a little more veteran in DeLuca, who just was injured dramatically last year, not once but twice.
Rick says, "Is JT still an option? Older catcher, probably not as effective, but leadership a plus."
I think he's a major option, and I think they are considering it. That just becomes a numbers game, And again, you go back to the ledger. Where, are you going to be able to fit that arguably $12 million a year number? That's where JT would be for at least a 2-year deal. So I think it's worthy of it. But can you fit that in and also take on the multi-year contract that is Ketel Marte and give up Ryan Pepio? That's the Christmas wish list. I think you're going to probably end up, hopefully, 2 of those things happening.
Yeah. Leadership also, he's mentioned leadership. I feel like that's hard to quantify unless you know these players and you're in the clubhouse and everything. Cause I think everybody sees okay, he's in his 30s, leader.
Yeah.
That's not always the case. You probably could speak to that more. Not everybody's built for that role necessarily, or is that guy.
Right.
I don't know the history of JT on that, but if he is, I think that would be a plus too. Cause outside of Yandy, it is, at least in the lineup, it is a younger group of guys.
It is, and especially in the catching core that they have right now. So and the lack of experience that they have at the catching core right now. So and all you've done is just added Bodine, who's a really sweet swing, by the way. If you haven't seen, look him up and watch this kid's left-handed swing. And supposed to be, they're putting that kid Bodine at the point where he hardly doesn't. He's such a plus catcher that he doesn't have that much more upgrade. He has a lot of. He has to.
And he's not
get better hitting.
He's still years away, but he's not 18.
No,
he's 22.
He's 22.
He's
so
22.
This guy's not that far, and as good a catcher. Those guys you take a chance of with being weak or bad. And then you got I believe Deegan is the right-handed power guy, if I'm not mistaken. In the minor league. So those two guys are kind of
Keegan,
the Keegan. Excuse me, not Deegan. Keegan. Those are your future potential.
Which
tandem.
is good because we've had nothing in the catching.
So we got two guys that are in their early 20s that could be the future of catching again when you're looking 3-4 years from now.
Are we already giving up on Fiducia and Fortes?
We're not giving up on them in the sense of one of them ends up being your backup catcher, but I'll be honest with you, I am giving up on them being your frontline catcher.
Frontline catcher. Okay.
Yeah. So in that sense, that's not what it's kind of like saying. It's kind of like saying we're okay. So we're good. We got those two catchers, and then we got Richie Palacios, our second baseman. That's the depth chart right now, but that cannot be the depth chart going into April 6th. I believe it's April 6th, right? First game.
Yeah.
So
Cubs at the Trop,
your beloved Trop that you can't wait to get back into.
As Lonnie Wilkins says, Nick, let's not forget America's ballpark will get its flowers and proper farewell.
I couldn't have done more of a 180 on how I feel about that place over the last year. I became you.
Yeah, just because you actually went to another.
I went to an actual outdoor stadium to watch my team play, and it changed.
But now you're so excited to get back to the Trop, aren't you? Not really.
That's a no.
That's a no.
He's worse than me now.
He's worse than you.
Saying I can't wait to get back to the Trop.
Orestes, I live all the way in Lithia.
That's
For me, that is I'm telling you, and I can only really go to games on the weekend.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
By the time you get over there, man,
I think it's quicker to go to Tallahassee.
Yeah. You're better off going to a UCF college baseball game. I think it's
we'll do a little stadium stuff here in a minute, but I want to get through the comments and questions for you. Orestes Destrade. By the way, baseball tonight. Very nice. I like the baseball tonight you're wearing.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years with baseball tonight. Longtime Rays announcer. For those who don't know who we're speaking with here, legend in the Japanese league, played for
in my own mind,
Yankees,
too.
Pirates. Yes, this man knows his business. And Alejandro Noriega is asking, hey, boys, with Brandon and Shane traded for prospects, does this Ketel Marte trade like 60-40 likely to happen, especially since the Red Sox are out, being that they traded for Contreras?
Yeah, the Contreras deal was very interesting. The Red Sox, and again, they gave up, what's their one boy? Oh, geez. Dobbins, man. That's a beast of a young pitcher.
Not for me to, whatever the Red Sox do, the Red Sox do. I don't think
Dobbins for.
I don't.
And another pitcher. They not just Dobbins. They get.
I think there was one more
guy in there, but it was Dobbins that you're giving up that arm potential. If I'm saying St. Louis, I'm like so happy. I mean, they gave up $8. They had to throw in $8 million to his 40 something that's left over the next 2 years. If that's your answer for the Red Sox at first base, I'm not real happy.
I don't think the Red Sox fans are happy.
No. I got a bunch of texts from Red Sox fans.
I think they were. They
know how much a Yankee fan that I tend to be.
I think they were all in on. They were all in on Pete Alonso. At least the fan base was
100%.
And it just feels like that regime in place does not feel comfortable giving out long-term
deals anymore. So where does that sit with Bregman? So to answer, is it Alejandro?
Alejandro.
Yeah. I think the Ketel Marte is on the table. I think Donovan is Brendan
Donovan.
Brendan Donovan is on the table too. That's a different deal because he's not the power guy that you're looking for.
I'm not giving up Pepio,
and I'm not giving up Pepio for Brendan Donovan. Nice player, all-star caliber, second baseman, defensively. That's not the guy. You need a thumper. So can the deal happen? I would put it at 70-30 with the 70% not happening because of the cost of A, his contract, and B, what you're giving up. I'm still hoping that 30% comes to fruition. So, if in baseball hitting 300 is good, I'm going to stick with my 300 potential that we're able to get Ketel Marte. That's the way I look at it. If it happens, I'm cheering to the sky because I think that kid is a transformational player.
All right. So Danny Sledge says, I think Josh is traded to give Jacob Melton games.
Yeah, interesting.
And can get a starter for him. What
Great
can we
point
get for Josh?
We could get a lot for Josh. You can get a number 4 starter for Josh. You can get, maybe a catcher out there that's quality. You could, and I'm not opposed to trading Josh because we have enough outfielders. Melton could fit. Number 1 would be Fraley. Fraley would be the guy that they would give the ups to.
Yeah.
But I'm not opposed to trading Josh.
Yeah.
Now, I think Josh is going to end up being a above average major leaguer and when it's all said and done. And in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see a very talented Josh Lowe somewhere. And it'd be nice for him to stay here.
We love him, and we've seen the potential.
Yeah,
exactly.
When you're 27 and you're under team control like that, at that price that he is, I mean, if he was made available, like we went down the list, like about outfielders, there are not many on the trade market.
No, you wouldn't be getting
there.
another outfielder for him. You're going after.
No,
you're going after.
That's my point. If he was made available, like teams that need an outfielder, I'm saying, like he would immediately go to near the top of the list of outfielder available via trade.
I don't think they want to make him available.
Probably not.
They probably have gotten.
Then why would you go acquire all these outfielders?
A plethora of calls for him. You needed a thumper. And so they didn't go out and acquire a shit ton. They acquired Cedric Mullins. Yeah, Vlade is a utility guy, with right-handed power.
Okay,
bat. So you needed that. He could play second, third, left field. Probably could spot him and right if necessary. But it's second, third, left field, maybe even spot at first base if necessary, with a little bit of thump in his right-handed bat. Unproven at the major league level, proven at the minor league level. You picked up Cedric Mullins because you needed a big time thumper, a guy that's a quasi retread right now. Can he do something? I like both those deals.
Yeah. Now
Fraley, it was, I guess, inexpensive, and they're thinking they might get something out of it. They've had, you read about Jake Fraley when they talk about him. There's some MIT upswing that they have on Jake Fraley.
They also drafted him, so
there's a little bit of that.
Very familiar with him
going on. So I don't think they've just gotten crazy in the outfield, but you do have.
By the way, pieces. Fraley's only a year away from.
It's weird, but he's got 5 years in the big league.
Yeah, but he's only. Last year he didn't do much.
Or does he have 5 years? He's got like 4 years in the big leagues.
As a full-time guy, kind of going back to 2021, so about 4 years.
He's been around.
He's only a year removed or 2 years removed from giving you 15 and 65, and it's kind of about what I think Mullins gives you too,
and it's what Josh Lowe's been kind of giving you.
And you're not asking these guys to hit 1 through 5.
Yeah, exactly.
If you get that at 7 or 8 in your order, my goodness, you sign up for it.
So Marte seems to be the key. But I don't know if we're going to be able to procure that,
All right. Another question from Alejandro. Orestes, good to see you again, brother. And to ask you this again from a week ago, with Shane being traded away, what dominoes have to fall to sign Scherzer or Verlander?
Who would be your starter? I think Alejandro, isn't that the first time
he wants him
He
bad.
wants that veteran.
And I want Kate Upton.
He wants Kate Upton. So I want Scherzer pushing people around in the dugout. Get out of my way.
Let's go. There's some serious attitude coming with those guys.
And I think Nicky Numbers would agree with me if you had Scherzer, Verlander, Effling, Littell. I think I'm going up here somewhere. I'm not taking a chance on if anything, maybe Scherzer.
If I'm in the playoffs, that's an if.
Yeah.
Right.
I will happily have Max Scherzer pitch for me in that playoff game.
Correct.
I don't know about Max Scherzer's ability to pitch throughout a 162 game season.
Anymore. Right.
If it was between him and Verlander, Verlander I couldn't even entertain.
No,
not even close.
No,
I think Verlander
should quietly retire.
Exactly. Yeah. But I don't think
with a Hall of Fame credential.
I don't think those two guys would even be options. I think it's so much easier to just go the Eflin, or I would probably pick Littell.
Yeah.
The Littell. I think Littell's cheaper.
Yeah.
I think Littell gives you the same thing Eflin would give you.
Yeah.
And I think,
either or. I think one of those guys is going to come back and either of the Zacks I'm fine with. I those two veteran guys, one's at 41. And
Scherzer's 41.
And the other one.
And Verlander probably even older.
I think he might be older. He might be 42. So
Like,
I that doesn't make any sense to me.
Sorry, Alejandro.
Yeah.
No bueno.
Now, a guy that does possibly make sense and Nick let me know because I didn't remember it, was in the Rays system is Heim from the Texas Rangers that got released after having probably the last year and a half or so. He's been kind of down, but he was an all-star for a minute.
Yeah, he was an all-star in 2023, drove in 95 runs.
Yeah, that's an interesting catching potential that you could retread.
Yeah, and he was also a Gold Glover that year too.
Yeah,
so I have to think he's still
and
sound behind the plate.
Again, he's a. I need a catcher that has some playoff experience. If you're going to go after a veteran guy, then I need a catcher that has playoff experience. I don't need Gary Sanchez. You know what I mean?
Right.
I need a guy that's really been proven in the playoffs within the last 2 to 3 years.
All right, Michael LaRue says Jacob Melton, Carson Williams, Cedric Mullins, and even Josh Lowe all feel like the same type of player. Good speed, power, and defense, but a lot of swing and miss. Thoughts?
Yes. The answer to that is yes.
You don't want all of them in the lineup at the same time.
Yes. Well, that's where the diversity, comes from first base, second base, third base, DH. That's your 4 guys, with the second baseman being that crucial, trade in potentially being Ketel Marte. You add that piece, you can live with the swing and miss, athletic, running fast, great defense, Sans, Simpson's questionable defense. All those other guys are athletic outfielders, and you want that. You didn't get a lot of thump, hardly any last year from your outfield, but if you fill that gap of Brandon Lowe with a guy that's a 30 homer, just like he was, but beyond, okay, on base percentage way higher, games played way higher, average against lefties way higher, running ability way higher. That's what Ketel Marte is. So you're getting all these things that Brandon Lowe gave you. Oh, by the way, defense way higher. So it's a transformational player.
All right. Lonnie Wilkins says we still need some fan stream sports merch for JP's quote. I can't wait to get back to the Trop.
Man, that's the one. Right, you're right there. You put it right here. Can't wait for April 6th. You know what I mean? And then JP at the bottom, so people know that it was from one of the guys, that has just just obliterated the Trop for how many years? I love the Trop, but then again, I've had such a romance with the fans of the Trop for so many years.
Yes,
that literally it's been a romance.
I'll be honest, I joke, but there's something about the first time you go in there for the new season. I can't explain it, but when you walk through the front there, that front entrance there in front of the Bain parking lot,
right,
you get hit with this nice
rotunda
breeze, and there's a certain smell. There's
there'll be a smell.
There might be a different smell.
So bad.
There might be a different smell now, but in a way, it's in a way where it's
not a fresh cut grass smell.
Exactly. It's not like you're going to Wrigley. It's not like you're going there.
Or Chavez
They
Ravine.
should pipe that in.
They could pipe that.
They should pipe that fresh cut grass smell as soon as you walk through the doors.
Let's talk to Mike Murphy.
Yeah, that would be that would be amazing.
Fresh grass smell. Wow, that's actually not a bad idea.
It's a great idea.
It's actually a great idea.
Yeah.
You have a company that you can make that makes
we'll make that happen.
When people, every fan that walks in, a little spray comes in, and you're like, I'm in a ballpark.
Am I at a ballpark? The leather smell mixed in. We can get the whole
It's
thing.
a shame because the last time they played there was 24. It was when they redid the field, and that was actually the best I thought the field looked too.
Yeah,
when they had the thing, what was it, the crushed walnuts or whatever that they had in the field. I don't know what it's going to look like now.
Yeah,
but
well, they're redoing that whole thing, so we'll see. Hopefully, it's going to be an exceptional infield and outfield. But I just, listen, I go back to. My goodness, watching that hockey game at the Trop.
Yeah.
Back in, what was it, 97?
Yeah, 96. 96, 97.
I think it was 96.
43,000 people.
43,000 people at that place. And then retiring from baseball and Vince Lomoli hiring me to do things in the community to usher in 98. And
Final Fours there.
The Final
we've been
Four
to,
was short like that. I've had a love affair with that place. There needs to be a new stadium, 100%. And I've been about that for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that once you leave your home, Nick, I put this analogy recently on the show, which is the sad scenario of so many friends of ours that their homes had to leave their homes because of Milton, for umpteen months. Some of them upwards of 10, 12 months, almost a year. So you left your home and then you come back to it and it was redone a little bit. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm glad. It's kind of like that little bit of a love affair with the Rays. Hopefully will happen. Doesn't mean that home is the best home. It just means that you're back home. And there's something I think I'm going to say one more thing about that. I think baseball is so ingrained in the microfibers of America. The number one sport in the world, NFL football, right? Close second would be, as far as fandom, is soccer, right?
Yeah.
Football. And then the NBA grosses a lot and it's popular in Europe and stuff like that. But baseball has this Americana feel to it that you relate to certain things. And even though you have this beat up old dome park, there's something of, I think there's going to be a honeymoon period, a re-engaging of the vows, if you will, for the 26th season. And if you can have a solid team early on, come out pretty good. I'm not saying they're going to be getting 25,000 a game over there, but there's going to be an affectionate
I think there's going to be a post-Stu pop.
Add that.
I think there's a lot of fans that have been out for so long.
And it doesn't hurt, having a superstar like Junior Caminero that should have been Wander, but it wasn't, obviously.
Market around him, and
now
they're
it's
offering
Junior,
great ticket
like,
prices.
that guy should be everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And he has such an energy to him.
He does.
People would absolutely rally.
Totally different energy to what Wander had. Wander did not have that energy.
Randy Arozarena had that energy.
Randy had it,
wasn't the player.
But it wasn't the player. But Randy's energy was this kind of like cockiness and the thing and stuff like that. Yandy's different. Yandy really has like a smile and a fan appeal connection that sans the fact that he doesn't speak English. If he spoke English, I'm telling you, Yandy would be a demigod, not just in the Tampa Bay area.
You mean Junior?
No, I'm talking about Yandy. I'm talking Yandy in the last few years. Junior's coming around. Junior's a build-up, But if Yandy had spoke English, then you could have really promoted Yandy nationwide, really. You know what I mean? And that is a problem. That's another topic to get into, but that's a problem with the immense amount of Latin talent. The reality is that if you don't dominate the English language, then it's harder for MLB to truly promote you. That's why guys like, I'm going to say Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols is in another level. He could have not spoken, for that matter. You know what I mean? And he was that good. But Francisco Lindor, you get some of these guys that you are truly marketable. Even Vlad Guerrero Jr., their English is solid, is good. You can stick them out there. And so Junior, I think, is going to be the face. And at least regionally, I agree 100%. Needs to be just blown up. And now I'll ask the question. And again, you're talking about the Ledger situation. When and if is it going to be this year? Or it's not going to be this year, like at the end of this year, but is it going to be prior to the season, during spring training, sometime during the year? Do they extend him for that, mega contract, or do they just wait it out one more year? I
don't think there's any urgency.
I don't think there's any urgency. If I'm in, Junior's camp
on their plate.
If I'm in Junior's camp, I'm creating the urgency.
Okay.
If I'm in the Rays camp, I'm not urgent about it. Keep proving yourself. And you're our guy. You're our guy.
But they need to get the marketing going, and I think Ken Babby's going to do that, and it's going to be dramatically different. Even the stuff they've already done with the dramatically lowering ticket prices, and I think it's going to be
the experience should be noticeable.
And they're going to put a lot into the Trop of their own money and not just let the city do what they're doing. So
I'm excited. I'm excited in all realms of the.
We'll be there opening day.
Yeah,
no doubt. Rick says, forget the steak. Pan con lechon on noche.
Ay, mi madre.
Buena. Feliz Navidad, mi hermano.
I'll talk to TRWC over there about adding a little bit of pan con lechon. That's it. That is a true. See, when people talk about
what is that?
Pan con lechon is the true Cuban sandwich. So there's the Cuban sandwich, right, which is truly, a beloved. I love it.
Yes.
But the Cuban sandwich got created in the Tampa Bay area. By that I mean in the era of the early 1900s by Cubans, Italians, Germans, and that's why it has Swiss cheese, pork. That's the Cuban part. Ham, salami. Yeah. It has a multiplicity of cultures built into one sandwich.
It so good.
It's a phenomenal
sandwich of unity.
It's a sandwich of unity. Look at you. You should be a politician. Vote now for JP for mayor of Tampa.
Multicultural Cuban sandwich.
Yeah. But the pan con lechon is basically Cuban bread with pork, with sliced roasted pork with the sauteed onions. It's the true. Yeah.
What else you put on it? Just
whatever else. If you want to put some other things on it, that's all you need.
Okay.
That's all you need. Pan con lechon. And then you also have the pan con bistec, which is just a steak sandwich. A thin palomilla.
Like
Thank you, buddy.
I like that.
This kid over here from Lithia, he gets it.
I'm very up to speed with my Cuban food.
He gets it. I do want to mention, and I want his thoughts on the Murakami deal, because
we had a comment in here or two about it, actually.
The Murakami deal, and again, with my Japanese background, I found it fascinating as hell because number one, Murakami could not go back to Japan, period. I mean, there was no do not stop. It would be for a player of his ilk, for a player of his magnitude at the Japanese level, the all-time Japanese single season home run leader, a Triple Crown winner, a WBC champion, just a beloved athlete in Japan. There was no going back. Him, even Imai could actually go back, though I don't think that would be an embarrassment. But definitely Murakami, definitely Okamoto. Those two guys cannot go back. That is like a slap in the face to the two Tokyo teams, by the way, that they come from. So you're talking about two prominent teams, legendary teams, the Yakult Swallows and the obviously the great Tokyo Giants. So that being said, his problem was the time frame. So he got posted earlier than these other guys. Imai has to, I believe, January 2nd or 3rd. Okamoto has to like the 4th or 5th. So there's a little bit more lead time, to create a deal for those guys before, because it's a 45-day from the moment that you post. And that put them behind the 8 ball because of the fact that these other big boy teams were looking at Tucker. You still got, Suarez out there. You've got some other big name, signings yet to happen. But the 2-year deal was kind of weird because you think that you would get a 3, 4, 5-year deal. When you get guys like Seiya Suzuki, who got, multiple years, the good comparison would be, I think actually Seiya Suzuki is the perfect comparison because he's more like a Seiya Suzuki batter. That's what I think he'll give you. He'll give you a lot of strikeouts, about 250 to 260, and 35 to 40 homers. And I'm going to tell you, having spent the 24 season over there as a special advisor with the Cebu Lions, that's where I wear a lot of the L, gear that I wear on the show. It's the Lions gear. Knowing Imai very well and knowing Murakami, this kid, as Jim told me, opposite field power pop. And I don't say that loosely because Jim told me he's a Hall of Famer. So he's going to be impressive. He's going to struggle. But the 2-year thing was surprising. Now, where that plays
to do the possible work stoppage?
No, because you would have been the deal there would have maybe been a 1-year deal, right? But, thinking about no. So at this point, it's not. I thought that right off the bat, and I'm going no. It goes beyond the work stoppage. The key here is that Chicago doesn't lose. You get a quality guy in the market for that, for that type of power. He crushes. You trade him in the offseason, and you get a bountiful back if he goes out and hits 40 jacks.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't, you keep him for year 2 and you play it by year after that. But I really think that he'll end up being a trade piece if he goes out and hits 30 to 40 home runs and shows his wares. But it was a bit surprising that he didn't get a multi-year deal.
It just seemed like timing was not on his side because you mentioned, he had till today, I guess, to sign. And it just has so turned out that some of the big pieces in free agency have not fallen yet. Bregman hasn't fallen. Bichette hasn't fallen. Baseman. Kyle Tucker hasn't fallen.
What's his name? Suarez, another third baseman.
Suarez hasn't fallen.
So those guys crushed.
I was just against him. And I think the big market teams, they're looking that you got probably 8 or 10 teams that are all looking at these players right now and are all sort of trying to allocate, what they want to spend on this player. And they're pursuing that. And you almost have to be laser focused on that, and without trying to go get like a Murakami or something like that.
You don't know he's going to be a stud, but you're not sure. So you're talking about frontline teams that have to make precise, like you just said, decisions. I'm going to go after Bregman and give him $150 million. I better be on point. That 5-year deal is on point, right? So that cost them. I'm not kidding you. Them posting him early may have cost him $60 to $70 million, because if he had another week or two, then you're in a situation where he could have waited out, and you might be seeing. And
to your point, I think you told, maybe we said it off air, but Yoshida, when he got posted, he was older than Murakami, I believe, and not clearly the upside at the plate as this guy, and he got 5 for 90.
And when he's healthy, he crushes. Yoshida's a hell of a hitter. But he's not Murakami, and he's been and because of the shoulder injury, he's almost regulated to DH right now. He can't even play the outfield that much. So this guy is going to be interesting. Now Okamoto, that's the next one that I think is going to be an interesting situation, and I see Boston maybe jumping in on that. But again, not for that 5-year $100 million thing, but maybe for a 3-4 year deal if they don't re-sign Bregman. Bregman is such a catalyst in the market right now because he's such a proven player. You're going to listen, JP, you're going to give somebody $30 million. You need some proven.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
$17 million. That's a good deal for.
That's a good deal for
the White Sox.
It's a good deal for the White Sox. Good deal for him. He proves himself. Now you get traded next winter. White Sox get a bounty, and he can walk in, and his agent goes, "Hey, oh, by the way, his agent is, the agents for all 3 of those players. It's Boris for Imai, Boris for Okamoto, XL for Murakami. So those guys will take a trade and go extend my guy. And because he just hit 35 jacks.
All right, last thing we got to get to is there was some stadium news last week.
Yes.
Possible, I would say, odds-on favorite new mayor for Tampa is their old mayor, Bob Buckhorn.
Good guy.
Who was around, like him. He was not. I've criticized him for this, and I know Bob very well. We've had him on the show. I don't think he was really all in the first Rays go around in 2018.
You think that he might have been unsure as
I think he's probably, he's probably spot on knowing who he was dealing with Stu. Yeah. Right. And wanted no part of it.
Right.
And knew it wasn't going to happen.
Compared to now. And I think this situation, he talked glowingly of the new owners and how much easier it is going to be to get a deal done with these guys because they're much more community minded. It's not, here's our, one, like Stu was like this, just took his ball and went away back then. And of course we saw what happened in St. Pete. And he feels like, and he's had a lot of extensive talks with these new owners and knows what they're doing, what they want to do. And he was very, very positive about what I think is the HCC site, but just in terms of working with them, what they have to work with in terms of their political connections, their money, their real estate development background. Right.
You look at, we kind of revisit this a little bit with this new group because I think they're getting a little bit of bad press for whatever reason. Because, there hasn't been maybe huge signings or everybody wants the stadium to be done yesterday.
Man.
I mean, come on. And so, but you have a money guy in Cosgrove who knows how to, get money, mortgages, Union Mortgage. And then you have a guy who knows how to market baseball teams in Ken Babby. And you got Solupski, who's a real estate developer.
And connected.
And then a vast array of limited partners like Mike Murphy, like Fred Ridley, like so many more.
The Weatherford Group.
Weatherford Group.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are all-star businessmen in this marketplace. They know what they're doing. They know how to do things.
Yeah.
They have deep pockets. They have political connections. And I think this is going to come aboard really nicely. And if that's Metro Sportsplex area, if it's the HCC, I think it's a huge. It's great accessibility. It's on the right side of the bay in terms of population. You got a lot of good stuff going on here. So I'm very very bullish on.
A couple things. Number one, it looks like Bob's going to run on that on that format, right?
Very pro
Tampa,
baseball development.
Baseball development. I think it's going to be a big win for him to do that.
Yeah.
Number two, Bob deserves to be back. I thought he was a solid, if not great, mayor for the Tampa area, the city of Tampa. Number two, anytime you're going to do these type of massive deals, it ends up being a private-public situation. So you have to have a great relationship with the municipalities.
Right.
I mean, a great relationship.
And the city really wasn't as involved in that first go-round as it appears they're going to be now. So now you got county, city all on the same page. And state on the same page, and that's basically state land there at HCC.
Exactly. That's why I mentioned that. That's why I really think that will end up being the place, because you get the state involved. Now they can allocate certain tax situations, infrastructure. And by the way, I meant Zalewski, is that he's very connected to the man
Governor
up north
DeSantis,
from him, from Jacksonville all the way to Tallahassee.
And it's shovel ready.
It's shovel ready. So
there's a lot of good things about that. And
one more thing about that. Damn, is it a lot closer to Lithia? I mean, it is unbelievably. Nikki numbers. What do you think about that whole thing?
I'm all for it. I am all for it.
I see some light rail being involved. Yeah, you like your trains.
We'll get you a special Uber deal. That will get you a raised price Uber deal. It just picks you up, drops you back off.
That would be perfect. I don't even want to get in my car.
You don't even want to deal with it.
As we come to the end of the show and the holiday season, Merry Christmas to all of you.
Amen.
And if you're a Rays fan, in your stocking right now, you've got a new ownership group that has deep pockets, that just put together, I thought, a really good acquisition of young talent that gives you a lot of options moving forward. You got some nice building blocks that you already have. I think if you're a Rays fan, this is a good Christmas. You got a lot to be thankful for. I'll ho the hell out of that.
I would too. Obviously, not to belabor the name of Cattell, I would. That would be. That's not a stocking. That's a big gift.
That's a big gift. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's not a stocking.
That's not a stocking. That's
cherry red.
That is a one when you wake up and you're like,
that's the cherry red new bike under there.
What is that? Is that Cattell Marte for Christmas? What the hell happened?
It's like the Red Ryder BB gun.
Dad, go away! Help me put it together. Let's
put it in the lineup right now.
Put it in the lineup right now. Cattell Marte. I got Cattell Marte.
Let's do it.
Oh, thank you, Santa.
Let's do it, Rays ownership group. Let's get her done for Christmas. That's what we all want under the tree for sure. All right, well, this has been fun. Big thanks to Texas Roadhouse, Wesley Chapel, Kingmakers, Murphy Auto Group, Genesis of Tampa. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
Feliz Navidad.
He's a lot smarter than you said he was. I don't know what is going on. No.
I'm a lot smarter than him.
I know you are.
That's a low bar.
That one came out real quick. But happy,
especially on my pain meds.
Yeah,
I was just like, y'all talk. I'm good over here. Thank you guys for joining us as well. It's been a fun week. We'll hopefully be back after Christmas, and everyone will have that.
God bless you all.
That one.
Best in and out music you're going to hear in a podcast.
Drop it.
Tranquilo y tropical.
That's what I was doing.